It's time for us as men to stop fooling ourselves. It's time for us to start stepping up and doing things that's going to help us to reach our true potential. It's time for us to get away from making excuses to use drugs, to use alcohol, to engage in pornography. It's time for us to move away from trying to hide behind all those surface level things that we're doing as men that is interfering with our ability to become the best version of ourselves. So, my question to you is this: do you know your worth? And if you do, are you living your life according to what you are worth? Remember, if you sell yourself cheap, that's what you're going to get back. If you are not taking the time that you need to take to work on yourself daily, to reflect, to practice holistic healthy masculinity, to ask for help when you need it, to reach out of your comfort zone and seek to engage and connect with the right resources or the right supports in order to break out of the toxic cycles that many of us and many of you are caught in, then you are not going to really experience your true worth. So, do you know your worth? Are you setting good boundaries or are you deceiving yourself? Are you that guy who is so consumed in self centeredness and narcissism that you're not open to learning anything new? Are you embracing something that may be extinct and outdated? One of my favorite recoveries as I'm studying and practicing is when I learned about the term intellectual humility. What is that? Intellectual humility is your ability to ask yourself the question: could it be that all the things that I've learned from my youth or my childhood up, they are flawed? What if you have been living your life within a confined space that is flawed and toxic and unhealthy? In order to know that, you have got to be brutally honest with yourself and open yourself up to the possibility of change. This is how you're going to discover your true worth. This is how you're going to break away from practicing and doing things in your life that's harming your relationships and harming your mental, psychological, physical, and social health. You've got to know your worth. You've got to step away from the temptation that comes with following the mandate of society. That's following the mandate of your culture, whichever culture that may be. You have got to confront that and recognize that if you are going to discover your worth, you've got to be willing to do what it takes. Sometimes it may feel like you're climbing a mountain and it's endless and it's steep, but you cannot quit. You've got to keep going and you've got to be determined and you've got to have purpose that whatever it takes, you're getting to the top of that mountain because there's something there waiting for you. You've got to know your worth. Sometimes you're going to feel like you're stuck in the middle of a storm and you're wondering when will it end, and all the floods of doubt are coming into your mind and they're causing you to wonder if you're doing the right thing. But in order for you to discover your worth, you've got to be consistent, you've got to be committed, and you've got to be connected with a source of life and strength and hope and faith that's buried deep within your being. You've got to know your worth. Sometimes you're going to feel stuck. It's like you're pressing forward, but there's something that's pulling you back. But it does not matter what is happening if you are going to discover your true worth. Then, even when you feel a strain of that pull that is dragging you from behind, you've got to keep your focus on your goal. This is how you discover your worth. So, do you know your worth? Have you ever taken the time to really think about what it would look like for you to acknowledge and know your worth? Sometimes knowing your worth means that you're going to have to step back and challenge all those things that you have been doing for most of your life. Because guess what? They're just not working. So, to discover your worth, you've got to open yourself up to the possibility of change. You've got to open yourself up to the reality that change will and can be made possible if you allow yourself to be engulfed in the process that's going to allow that change to take effect. So, do you know your worth? Well, I'm hoping that this video would have encouraged you to go on that journey to discover your worth. And as you discover your worth, I want you to remember that personal development is not an event, it's a lifestyle. So I want you to go out there and experience this lifestyle change that's going to come when you discover your worth. We'll see you again in our next video.